Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to steal thy shovel and rank some outstanding music from Shovel Knight. For this ranking, I will be using music from the Nintendo Switch release of the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove compilation. For those who have not played Shovel Knight before, this game was released in 2014 as a crowd-funded love letter to the 8-bit style games back in the 1980s. It had small goals, but left a huge impact on newcomers and veterans. This can be seen in the gameplay, graphics, story, and of course, the music. Jake Kaufman managed to make extremely catchy tunes with that old school charm, and every single one of these tracks have their own identity and shows that sometimes a good way to move forward is to take a peek into the past and make something great. Even though most of these songs are titled as the location leading up to the boss fight, I will be labeling them as the song name, followed by the name of their respective knight. We will only be looking at the music from the first Shovel Knight game, the one that started it all. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. Starting at number 10, we have A Cool Reception, Polar Night Stage. By no means a horrible song. There is a lot that I like here. It has a very mysterious and ominous opening that really works well, and for most of the beginning of the song, it does do a good job. But when I listen to this track, there's not a lot of cohesion in the music in the middle, but that's just my opinion. And I don't know, it just didn't really stick with me compared to the rest of these songs. But if we only have to go up from here, then I can't wait to see what else is in store. Coming in at number 9, we have An Underlying Problem, Mole Knight Stage. Now this is more like it. Just listen to this rhythm and you will be vibing with this melody. It just has that unexplainable cool factor to me. And this song does a fantastic job of capturing the sense of mystery and discovery you get when exploring a cave like this. Jake Kaufman also likes to sometimes add a bit of a remixed second version within his songs. That way you get a bit of a distinction in the music as you continue to pound shovel down bad guys' throats. This song, much like Mole Knight's theme, has a mysterious and discovery-like feeling to it, which, as you can tell, I am a fan of, but the main difference here is that it has a more desperate and fearful tone in it, considering the stage you're on is because you're underwater a lot of the time. So it sounds like the song is telling you that there's a chance you could drown and die. This is best brought out with the flats and sharps in this song, which there are plenty of. And as a result, you can tell this is one of the darker tracks on this list. And Shovel Knight being a fairly challenging platformer, you need to know when a boss means business, and that is executed very well with Treasure Knight's stage theme. At number 7, we have Flowers of Antimony, Plague Knight Stage. This is hands down one of the best beats in the entire game. This is another darker theme in Shovel Knight, but like I stated earlier, every one of these tracks has their own distinct feel. And this song is probably one of the more memorable ones because of how maniacal it sounds. This one's a keeper, guys. And it makes sense because Plague Knight will actually get his own game in the sequel to Shovel Knight, Plague of Shadows. In a way, you can almost tell the developers really liked this character from the start and wanted to make sure he got some extra love in the music department. Speaking of which, La Danse Macabre takes our number 6 spot as Specter Knight's main theme. And I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. For those not familiar with this gaming franchise, Specter Knight is another fan favorite that would also go on to get his own game with Specter of Torment. But what is interesting about this theme is I tend to hear a bit of bravery going along with this melody of death. Like you are bravely exploring this desolate wasteland and are determined to save those you love. I don't know why, so maybe it's just me, but I really like this song a lot, especially its remix version in Specter of Torment, so I really suggest you guys give these tracks a listen when you get the chance, as they just never seem to get old for me. Charging in at the top half of our list, we have The Rival, Black Knight's theme. Even though the battle is not super exciting against Black Knight, this song is far from boring. So much is going on, it can sometimes be overwhelming. The rhythm is intense, the melody is epic, and the song is all over the place. But in a good way. I kind of wish this was the final boss fight music because of how adrenaline pumping it is. And one quick note, this is not Black Knight's official theme. So I kind of just made an executive decision as he does not have his own stage, but I do consider it his main theme because of how good it truly is and how much of an impact it makes on the player right at the beginning of the game. Out of all the songs in this entire soundtrack, this one has my favorite introduction. And usually it can be off-putting when you hear those sort of clashing sounds that can come from chiptunes like this, but because we're about to face off against Tinker Knight, a blacksmith, that just makes even more sense for this song, and makes it even better than it already was. So many of the songs on this list make a game that looks this simple have such high stakes, with this one being no exception. This song is high above the others for a reason. How can you listen to this track and not be impressed? I just can't really think of any analytical terms as to why I like this song. I just feel so happy and determined when I hear it. It builds up and up and up as it goes and shows once again why video games are truly a work of art, something I will continue to push for on this channel, with Propeller Knight's theme as a leading example. And yet, we still have 2 more to go. At number 2, we have In the Halls of the Usurper, King Knight's theme. This is the final character to get his own spin-off later down the line, and it shows. It never steps off the gas and keeps you going, which is what the best video game soundtracks do. My favorite part of this song? The trumpets. Oh my gosh, the trumpets. Just give it a listen for yourself. Forgive me repeating myself, but this song is epic as can be and is impossible to not hum along with. You may be an imposter, King Knight, but you sure do know what it means to be royalty in the music department. For any hardcore gamers or hardcore Shovel Knight fans out there, this should come as no surprise that Strike the Earth is number 1 on this list. And yes, I know this is technically not Shovel Knight's theme, but it might as well be. It's the track you hear on the first level, and is something really special. While the game Shovel Knight does have a main theme, I think I am not alone with thinking that Strike the Earth should be, and is considered by many, the definitive song of Shovel Knight. When you play Shovel Knight, you can see, hear, and feel the love that was put into this game. I don't know the whole history of how this game was made, but I do know this game was crowdfunded as a love letter to old school platformers. And while you can see that in many instances throughout the game, you hear it in this song more than any of the others on this list. Yacht Club Games cared so much about what they made and knew if they wanted to impress others, they had to execute things right off the bat. And they did just that with this song, which is why I consider it to be the best song in this game. It's no secret that I love old school video games and the music that comes along with it. To think of how many limitations composers had years ago but still managed to make so many memorable tracks is fascinating and in a weird way inspiring to me. And for how well these songs managed to capture that magic from so long ago and make it accessible to a modern audience makes me so happy. I think it's fair to say that maybe down the line I will have to give this game a full review, but for now I just really wanted to show the music because video game music just means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know what you thought of this video. I of course appreciate everyone supporting me so much as I figure things out on this platform, and I am very excited to see what the future holds. But as we all know, the future can be a very scary thing. So always remember to love, breathe, and game.